The following podcast you're about to listen to is brought to you by the Push Start Media Network, where everything you do in life begins with pushing start. Gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Sport Your Enthusiasm podcast. I am your humble host, Bryce Benjamin, along with my co-host, Mr. Ed Rueter, in the building. What is good, my dude?
Well, this week I have the luxury of saying that there are so many things that are good because several things that are good. I mean, first and foremost, let's just talk about me a little bit here as you know, a big sports fan, but also a gamer. And as a gamer, we got some hot times right now. We've got the Xbox, the new Xbox launched today.
Yes, sir.
The PS5 coming out soon. A lot of my favorite games are dropping pretty soon. Games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out today. Haven't had a chance to play yet. For my role-playing nerds, we've got World of Warcraft dropping an expansion soon. And wow, from the world of gaming, I'm excited right now. A lot of cool stuff going on there. And then, of course, Bryce, I don't know if you heard anything about it. I mean, it's kind of been dominating the news a little bit, but there's this thing called an election that happened recently. What do you think of that?
Yo, Trump can't let it go.
He's got an issue letting it go. He's got to listen. You know what he's got to do? He's got to go watch Frozen.
You beat me to it, you motherfucker.
Listen to Elsa's advice, man. You can sing it, though, because I'm not going to sing it.
Let it go, let it go. You might get copyrighted for that.
Yeah, we're gonna get removed from the air,
right? Yeah, bro. I'd be on Twitter, and he's just firing them off, man. He's just retweeting videos of, you know, the GOP just keeps saying, "Oh, this election is rigged, and we're going to take this to court, and you know, we're going to have a second Trump administration." And I'm just like, bro, it's over, Trump. It's okay, man. You lost. It's okay. Everybody lose. Like, we talk about sports. In sports, typically 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, there's a winner, there's a loser. All right? Sometimes it's a tie, but in majority of cases, it's a winner and a loser.
And when the NFC East plays, it's just all losers. But that's
exactly
fine. I get where you're going with this, yeah.
And, yeah, man, you know, hey, listen, you had your 4 years. You got in. We wasn't happy about it. A lot of us wasn't happy about it in 2016 when you won. But, hey, it is what it is. It happened. And then 4 years later, the people decided that we don't want you again. Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, it hurts. I've been there. I've been not wanted before. It hurts. I get it.
Losses are tough. Hey, I'll tell you what, the last word that I'm going to say on it, because we could literally spend hours talking about politics or the election in general, but what I will say, why it's a perfect tie into sports, is because I've always said one of my favorite things in particular about youth sports and why it's so important for kids to be involved in if not sports, then at least some kind of group activities, right? You know, where it's competitive, is because you need to learn how to lose. And this man just never learned how to lose, and that's why he's got in weird space now, and he can't admit it. And I don't know, you know, teach your kids, anyone who's listening that has kids, teach your kids how to win with dignity and how to lose with dignity, because this is the kind of mess you see yourself in when you don't learn that lesson young.
Yeah, pretty much. But hey, you know, it's entertaining. Okay, I mean, right now, actually, it's kind of getting pathetic, but whatever. We'll move forward, man. We'll see what happens. Congratulations to President-elect Joe Biden and the first African-American and also female Vice President Kamala Harris. Congratulations to those two. And yeah, hats off. All right, moving on, man. Kind of wanted to talk a little bit of baseball with you, Rueter.
Love it. I love it. We're here in the middle of November and you're talking about baseball. I can't wait.
Yeah, you know, football is week 10. We'll talk about that and everything of that nature there. But I want to discuss a little baseball with you. So free agency is going to be starting up soon, and a couple of news, couple of notes. First of all, your Cleveland Indians and your best player, Lindor, is looking like he may be on the move this offseason, man. I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that and any idea of where he'll potentially be playing next season. I know that's your guy. I know that's like your favorite player in sports right now, but the floor is yours, man. Talk to me.
Okay. All right. So I'm glad you said that that's my guy, because that's essentially like my Lamar Jackson. That's my, Bullware. That's my Ray Lewis. That's my guy, right? So for me, it's interesting. I've got mixed emotions on it, because the sad part is if we weren't going to win, which it didn't seem like we were going to in baseball, there's kind of an odd mechanic that takes place where you kind of have to dump these players when you know your team isn't good. And the problem, the holding pattern that the Indians got in since their World Series visit was that they were good but not great, right? And I think when you're good but not great in baseball, you can fool yourself into thinking that you're something that you're not. And what I was actually an advocate for was if they were going to move him, and I'm saying this as one of his biggest fans, that they should have moved him far sooner than they did, because even though now he's going to be a good value, it sounds as though he's going to be traded this offseason, which means that the team that picks him up will have a full year of control. So that's huge in the baseball world, because that means that he's not, maybe just a rental for half a season or a rental for the last couple of months for a playoff push, but you're going to have him for a full year of control, which is nice. Now, with that being said, they could have traded him last year and gotten an absolute haul. I'm talking multiple either draft picks or young prospects that are high up in someone's farm system. Now with 1 year of control, that's still nice, but it's not going to be that same haul that they would have gotten had it been done a little bit earlier. So very heavy heart to say that, trading him's probably the right option, and they probably should have done it before the season ended last year. With that being said, I think the second part of your question was where he might end up, and I am not an insider necessarily. I don't have any, crazy connections. Francisco is still not returning my calls personally. So
that bastard,
that's annoying, right? I mean, the guy just doesn't answer me, but I mean,
come on, bro.
Come on, man. I'm your biggest fan. You don't answer fans. I feel like singing "Stand" to him right now, that Eminem song. Like, come on, man. I just think it's fucked up that you don't answer fans, but,
hey man, as long as I don't turn on the news and see, some guy drew a 95 on the thruway, drunk.
I just drank a fifth of vodka. Dare me to drive? No. So the rumor has it that he is going to either go to the Mets, who can certainly afford him as a team with a fairly large budget there, that have been known to go after free agents in the past. But other than that, I would say the other rumor that I've heard is Toronto, which I think would be pretty cool. I've always liked Toronto. I think he would fit in very well with a host of young players. Toronto, of course, is the team that's known for, at this moment, having a ton of former MLB players' sons on this team, including Vlad Guerrero Jr., Kevin Biggio, and Dante Bichette's son as well. So I think it's a cool place for him to go. Those are the two big teams that I've heard attached to him. Of course, everyone also thinks the Yankees, because the Yankees tend to make a splash and, of course, have tons of money to throw around. But that's where it stands as of today. It looks like either the Yankees, Mets, so somewhere in New York, or Toronto. So maybe if I can hang on to my fandom with this guy, he won't necessarily be going so far away that I can't go see him play somewhere. So that might not be so bad.
That'd be dope if he went to Toronto. That's a shorter drive than Cleveland.
Yeah, man. I think that'd be pretty cool. He'd fit right in with that infield. Vlad Guerrero, to his left, or I guess to his right, but to our left there at third base, and Biggio in the infield. I think could be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind that at all. Sad to see him go, of course, one of my favorites of all time, but. It's time to move on. And if Cleveland doesn't want to pay him, I think the guy should go get paid,
So that's what it is. Like Cleveland, because I was about to ask you that question. Like, why are they trying to get rid of their best player? Is it because they don't want to pay him the money he deserves?
I mean, essentially, yeah. I mean, the way it's going, it looks as though it's going to be probably a $300 million contract. and the Indians just are not going to pay that. When you're a smaller market team, in baseball, one of the big things to talk about is that there's no salary cap, right? So one of the hardest things when you're constructing a roster is that if you're a smaller market team, you're going to be competing with those teams that have virtually unlimited budgets. How it works is if you go over a certain amount, what happens there is you end up paying a luxury tax. But that's not really a deterrent necessarily.
So baseball has no hard cap. You guys it's a soft cap.
Soft cap with basically a tax where any of the money that's spent over that goes to the smaller market team. So no hard cap. So if you want, if you take a look at some of the past division winners and playoff making teams, you see it's year after year after year lately. It's the teams that can go and afford to spend and pick up all of the big free agents. So that's your Yankees, the Dodgers, a lot of times St. Louis, etc. But that's just a sad reality of Cleveland baseball. That's why they kind of go through a cycle about every 10 years where for, a 4 or 5 year period where they can't compete and bring in top-notch talent off free agency, they tend to have higher draft picks. They cultivate a winning team from within through their farm system. It takes them a while, right? But then they put it together where all these young players that they've kind of put together kind of coalesce at the same time and end up doing some damage, making the playoffs, taking a run even at the World Series like we saw a couple of years back. But then what happens is some of these players then make a name for themselves and want to get paid, and we simply can't afford to continue to pay them. And those players move on, move on elsewhere, and we end up right back where we started and drafting high again.
Bro, that is so ass, man. I don't like that. Because, I just see this dude going to the Yankees. Somehow, some way, they're just going to get him. And I'm just tired of, this happening. These teams just poach the best players from the smaller teams. It happens in every baseball and in basketball too. I hate it. I hate it. It's so annoying. And it's always those typical teams like the Yankees, like the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? Just, we're going to get this player after he spent years and years of developing his skills. And now he's a ultra uber talented player. Now we're going to sign him and take him away from you. And man, it's,
So you'll see that a lot with players in the career path is eerily similar for a lot of the top name players in baseball. They'll start off and they'll play through their rookie contract, which, unfair to the players there too, based on service time and things like that. MLB owners can choose to keep players down in the minor leagues longer and bring them up halfway through a season to have an extra year of control on their contracts. So there's things that are kind of grimy that already happen to players right out of the gate from their rookie contract. So you'll see these players. Let's just take a very famous player like Alex Rodriguez, for example. He started off with Seattle. He ended up moving over to Texas for a brief period of time. And actually, let me think about that for one moment.
A-Rod?
A-Rod, yeah, because I don't know why I paused on that for a moment. Did you ever make yourself pause on something for a second that just sounded wrong, when a word just sounds wrong coming out of your mouth? Yeah, that's what I just did there. But yes, in fact, he did play for Seattle first. He came up with the Mariners. He went on to play for Texas for a very brief period of time after he was moved, and then ultimately went on to play the rest of his career out with the Yankees. So you'll see a player play out a rookie deal, oftentimes be traded to a team that's hot at the time, and then move on to a big market team where oftentimes these teams overpay for their services because at that point, a player is already 29 or 30 years old. They've moved on to, the back half of their career where baseball players, sometimes they get to that 32, 33-year-old age season and they're not the same player that they were. But, it's tough, man. You'll see that all the time. Play out a rookie deal, move to a team for a year as they're traded, and then, play out the twilight of their career as an overpaid player for a big market team. And that, you could go through just lists of hundreds of players that have taken that path, and it's kind of sad that that's the way these things shake out in the MLB.
Yeah, that shit is corny, bro. But Hey,
that's what you just don't see that in other sports, right? I mean, there's not a lot of sports where you see that happen, and that's